Hey, how's it going? Gareth James here for MTT and today what I'm going to go through is pre-flop range construction. I get this question quite a lot, and it's something that I run through quite a lot in lessons as well, when it's clear to me that a student or someone that is just learning the game, so maybe not my student but someone that I'm talking to about the game, isn't thinking in terms of their range, but they're thinking in terms of their hand. So in this situation, you can see Anti-Svanti opening up for 2.5x in early position. This hand is taken from the Mini Thursday Thrill. Anti-Svanti, a very, very good player, Anton Wig, and he opens for 2.5x and it folds to us with pocket jacks. So we can either approach this from, oh, we have pocket jacks, this is what we're going to do with pocket jacks, or we can approach this from a range perspective. And I think the latter is the much better way to go. So we want to know which hands we're going to call with here, which hands we're going to 3-bet for value, and which hands we're going to 3-bet as a bluff. Now, versus a very good player like Anti-Svanti, we're going to want to have some bluffs. Versus a weaker player, we might not want to have so many bluffs, but then we can widen our 3-bet for value range. I'm going to open up Equilab, and I'm going to dive straight in to looking at the range of hands that we want to 3-bet for value. So, for example, maybe our 3-bet for value range is just queens plus ace king, and we'll mark those in purple. Okay, so that's our 3-bet for value range. Then we start to think, okay, well then we want to have some hands here that we want to call. Hands that are going to play well against under the gun, and also, we can't flat with a really wide range here because we are susceptible to a squeeze, but then we are protected a little bit by the fact that it's under the gun who's raised, who should have a fairly strong range, and us having a fairly strong range as well. So we're not going to get squeezed as often as, say, if someone opened from middle position and we decided to flat on the cutoff or the button. The most obvious squeeze spot is when the button opens and the small blind flats, because the small blind really is capped in that situation, and the big blind should be able to profitably squeeze very, very wide there. But in this situation, it's a little bit different. So we can have a lot more hands that we want to go ahead and flat. So we can flat, all of these pairs. We can flat ace queen suited, ace jack suited, king queen suited, queen jack suited, maybe even jack 10 suited, and then maybe ace 5 suited as well. So let's put those in this blue color. I'll just change queens back as well. So you can already see that we've got two ranges here. We've got a 3-bet for value range, and we've got a range of hands that we want to go ahead and call. So now against a good player, we're thinking to ourselves, right, well, we need to have some 3-bet bluffs. So the best place to start with these 3-bet bluffs, let me just actually add in king jack suited to this range as well. Okay, so that's our calling range and our 3-bet for value range. So versus the good player, we want to start with our bluffs, hands that fall just below our calling range. So the perfect example in this situation is going to be ace queen off and ace 10 suited. So we'll put those in this red color. Oops, not ace 5 suited. Change that back to being a call. So those are our bluffs at the moment. Now, somebody might be thinking ace 5 suited could potentially be a good bluffing hand in this situation. I think that's absolutely reasonable. I just think it's worth having some wheel aces, or one wheel ace, ace 5 suited, in your flatting range, and then you could use ace 4 suited, ace 3 suited as a potential bluff as well. Now, we don't want to go too out of line here, especially versus a good player. We can't suddenly have loads of bluffs in this situation, but we might want to choose some hands that have a little bit more board coverage, so we don't just get attacked on low boards. So if you think about it, when we 3-bet in this situation, we're going to have some very strong hands, and our opponent is going to have those medium strength hands to call pre-flop. And if the board comes very, very low, he's going to have that a little bit more often than we are. Yes, we're going to have the overpairs when he should be potentially 4-betting those hands, but he's going to have those smaller pairs and the smaller suited connectors that connect more with the sort of small low cards and the medium cards as well, or middling cards. So for that reason, you might say to yourself, okay, well, what about having, some of these lower suited connectors as bluffs as well? And again, it's falling outside of our range. Yes, we could choose these 10-9 suited, 9-8 suited, 8-7 suited as a bluff, but they're getting toward the sort of middling and top end of their range. So we want to have, sometimes we might want to have some lower cards as well. So we might include these as our bluffs. So already now you can start to see the hands that we're 3-betting for value, the hands that we're going to choose to flat call, and the hands we might decide to bluff with. We might even add in another ace-4 suited here to bluff with, as well as I've previously mentioned. And so that, guys, is pretty much it. We make sure that we have some hands that we want to 3-bet for value. We make sure we have some hands that we want to go ahead and call versus a raise, and we make sure we have some hands that we want to 3-bet as a bluff. Now let's say instead then that it wasn't anti-Svante opening from under the gun, it was a weaker player. We then would probably want to go ahead and widen our 3-bet for value range. So let's just go in here, and this Power Equilab is just great for this in terms of color coding different parts of your range. So let's say instead that we decided that we would start 3-betting ace queen suited, ace jack suited, king queen suited, jacks instead. And you can see now that our calling range is much smaller, so we could actually extend that as well. So we could start adding in 10-9 suited, 9-8 suited, 8-7 suited as well. So we actually, we want to be playing more hands against weaker players. Against good players, maybe not so much, but against weaker players, we want to play more hands. So if we're widening our 3-bet for value range, we're taking out some of those hands that we want to call with, well then we need to add in some other calls, hands that are going to do pretty well against our weaker opponent. So that's pretty much it. That's how I would approach this situation. You've got to recognize when it's a good player opening and when it's a weaker player opening, and change your ranges based on that. But give it a go. We should be thinking in terms of ranges now, not just, oh, we've got pocket jacks, we're going to flat, or we've got pocket jacks and we're going to 3-bet. We need to be thinking in terms of our whole range. These are the hands I'm going to 3-bet for value. These are the hands I'm going to call, and these are the hands I'm going to 3-bet bluff. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you liked it, give us a like down below and make sure you subscribe as well. Cheers. Thanks for checking out this video. If you would like free strategy articles and YouTube videos and free podcast episodes delivered straight to your inbox, then head over to mttpokerschool.com right now and sign up for our mailing list. I'll even throw in a free push fold guide and opening hand cheat sheet. What are you waiting for? Head to mttpokerschool.com right now.